Hey people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Red Room. I promise to keep record of the number of episodes, but you guys know I say one thing and do another thing, and so I haven't. I haven't kept up, but we will count up and start doing episode 16 or whatever it is of Red Room. But people, you are all very welcome. In the week that the first international break is over, was that the first international break? Of course it was. People, are you bored? Are you tired? Are you really tired? Well, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. What are you looking forward to on the weekend? Because I tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Liverpool playing football again. I'm looking forward to seeing these Reds. No, we're not going to be playing in red, apparently. We're going to be playing in that emerald green.
Greeny. Yep. Heavy kit.
We're looking forward to the greens. Don't take that the wrong way. We're looking forward to the greens on the weekend, people. We're here to talk about it. Mo's in the building. Mo, how are we doing?
I'm all good. I'm just get this week done. It's been so boring. I know international football and all that, but give me my club back. I can't wait to see Isaac in that shirt. I'm sure we're going to address that, whether he's going to play or not. But yeah, I'm just excited. Just get this next 48 hours away, get the Premier League back, and let's get going.
If people are not familiar with Jack, where have you been? Jack is the
fellow in the background.
No, I'm trying to work out player-wise.
Oh, I get you on Analysed. I usually grow my hair just because of my little ginger.
No. I'm not talking about looks-wise. I'm talking about role-wise, like importance to the team-wise. Specific role. So I'm thinking.
Fabinho, Wataru Endo. He's a 6. He's the deep player.
Wataru Endo.
Unbelievable. There we go. You put Jack on last 10 minutes to see a game.
Right, cool.
I'm not quite. Welcome, lads. I think we're on episode 6 this season.
There you go. Look at that.
I was going to go to Jack anyway when it comes to stats and facts and behind the scenes. If you don't know Jack is the main man behind editing, producing, and organizing everything on my behalf. I literally just turn up. Jack does everything.
You're the star.
I love Jack. I absolutely love Jack.
Well, then he's Sabotolai then. Come on,
it doesn't work. Yeah,
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there, Cav.
Give him a first team release.
Yeah, you know what? I probably did Jack dirty by saying Endo, Cav.
No.
Right.
I tell you why I tell you why I didn't say Sabotolai. Because Jack doesn't like.
I haven't got the lung capacity of that fella.
Exactly. And Sabotolai loves himself. Jack doesn't. You know what I mean?
What?
I'm not that good looking.
No, do you know what I mean by that though?
The hole's getting bigger.
But yeah, let's keep digging, boy. What a start. He took a week off. He's brought Jack on. He's like, Jack hates himself. Let's
Right. You came out with a brilliant example, Mike, and then you effed it all up. All right. Welcome, Jack. How you doing?
Welcome, everyone. We got there eventually. There we go. There we go.
Good. Cav's in the building. Cav, you okay, my friend? I know we've got some topics that are really going to get you excited later on, but hope the international break hasn't bored you to bloody death.
Nah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure how you guys feel about international football. I'm not interested in it in the slightest, to be honest with you. I'm Premier League and Liverpool through and through. I can't bear to watch it, to be honest with you. It just bores me. So yeah, feels like longer than a week. And imagine signing £125 million player just to have to sit there and wait and just, watch the inside training and just soak up every little bit that we can see of him. But I'm sure we'll talk about it. But I'm really excited that we get to play again on Sunday. Just excited about this team and the kit and everything. So yeah, look, good moment to be back.
It's buzzing, isn't it? It's mad. Like everything's so exciting. It's like a great time to be a Liverpool fan. And, long may it continue, Mike. Like these times, we've got to cherish them, right? Like how many times have we said, cherish these moments?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. I don't know the ages of everyone here, but you grow up and you kind of go through. Okay, you got. I always think back to the Hodgson era specifically when you had Higgs and Gillette. We're on the verge of I don't want to say bankruptcy, but it looked like Liverpool were becoming almost a stale team, and mid-table. So I think of that, right? And I'm like, right, I remember what that was like for me when I was a kid in school. And we would have pulled every single joke. We had David and Gog up front. We had Konchesky left back. You had Jovanovic coming off the bench to try and rescue a game, which was just, it was not great. It was just a bad look for the club. So you have that. You have Dalglish come back in, and then suddenly FSG, and then you kind of just slowly build towards this Klopp, and now Scott, and now where the team is you got to embrace it. You got to enjoy it, because football works in cycles, and there will come a time, whether we want to say it or not, where maybe Liverpool aren't going to be where they are now. You can't think this is going to go on forever and ever and ever. We want it to, but you got to enjoy it in the moments. You got to celebrate everything you can.
100%. And this is why I always try to remain positive, even through the dark moments, because you're right. We know football's cyclical. Look at the Man United era and look at them now. Man City are going through a bit of a rough patch. Arsenal are in the midst of their rough patch, even though they're on the upward curve, if you know what I mean. So look, all the great institutions of the English League, the Premier League, are going through phases, and we're in a hot phase. Mo, the international break, we discussed it before we went into the international break, that I personally thought it's come at a good time. I know some of you lot disagreed with me, but I thought it's come at a good time in terms of a lot of fringe squad players that haven't had enough minutes will get minutes. And so it transpired. Robertson had 290 minutes. I think Conor Bradley had 290 minutes, lads, unless I'm mistaken. And even Alexander the Great had a few minutes and a few training sessions, which have helped. And no injuries, which is the main key part, right? So minutes plus no injuries, not bad.
Yeah, definitely came at a good time for us, because we actually got McAllister got 90 minutes under his belt as well. I think McAllister is one of the main people we want to get up to fitness, but he's going to take time, I think, because I watched a bit of that Argentina game and he looked a bit still leggy still, but yeah, that'll come. But another thing is we got Frimpong back from injury as well. So, and that all happened in that 2-week period. So, yeah, we have to take positives. Isaac got a little bit of a run out. And in that run out he made more chances than Groceries did. So, yeah, there's positives to take out of it. And we got players back. We've got a fully fit squad, no injuries. So, yeah, it's going to be... I can't wait. I can't wait till Sunday. I just gutted it Sunday. I wish it was tomorrow, but yeah, Sunday, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jack, obviously international break gives us time to sort of regain fitness. I forgot about Frimpong as well, who's managed to get so many training sessions behind. He looks fully fit. Everything seems to be going well. We have decisions to make, and we're going to get into that. Obviously, Szoboszlai played well for his country as well. Conor Bradley, I think, was very important that he got minutes because... I'm thinking a few people have forgotten how good Conor Bradley has been for us so far. What do you think?
Yeah, it's obviously the departure of Trent to Madrid, the big expectation. Liverpool signed a £30 million player in the form of Frimpong. You lads have spoken about his quality over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it's obviously getting that injury early on in the season for Frimpong. But yeah, two talented right backs that would certainly get into the majority of the top European sides, really. I think it's massive. I think, as you lads have already spoke on countless occasions, we all hate international duty, but it can... Historically, especially England set up, Ox used to get injured all the time when he used to went for England. Sturridge, Gomez as well in the past.
Sturridge and Gomez. Yeah, Sturridge and Gomez used to just always come back injured spot on.
But like the recovery from Bradley, it's integral really, especially with Champions League on the horizon next week as well. So I think it's a plus, this international break. I think it's helped Liverpool drastically really, especially recovery time from Alexander Isak as well. I think even 20-30 minutes, and especially training with the Swedish national side and the other lads that way, as Bradley and Frimpong. We don't want to be rushing them back because there's a long season, as we all know, but I think any minutes are very beneficial, as we all know, mate.
Cav, we know last season that our medical team were like spot on. Like people call it luck, but we know there's much more method to the madness, or science to the the way we work. We know everything is scrutinized to players' fitness, minutes, how many times did we listen to Slot and even Klopp talk about the medical team have advised me he can only play 20 minutes. Like, that's how specific we are. So fingers crossed and all of that business, prayers up. It looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it looks like we have a fully fit squad going into what tends to be, starts ramping up to be a very busy period, because Jack's just reminded me, Champions League on the horizon as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that one thing that we do really well last season especially, and it seems like it's the case this season as well, is we actually listen to our fitness coaches. They're not just there and advising in the background. Like, if they say a player needs to do 60 minutes, that's what he does. You know, Slot really takes their advice on board. He trusts that they're the experts in that. And we had injuries last season, of course. That's what's going to happen. But it looked like we were managing the fitness of players. It looked like we were reducing the amount of injuries because we were trusting that medical backroom staff. So I hope that remains to be the case again this season. It's all well and good having all of these great talents and these great minds behind the scenes, but you've got to use them, you've got to listen to them, and you've got to come together to make the right decisions. And I think that's one thing that was really admirable about certainly Klopp, and I think he said it enough times, that he brings people in to make up where his deficiencies are. But I think Slot's much the same as well in that respect. So that's good in terms of that fitness. I think just sticking to Slot and the international break, I think one of the important things in terms of using the time wisely is Slot himself, and looking at how the first 3 games have gone, what tests that's posed to the team, how we have overcome them. We've got maximum points, but how has it affected us? How have we played? What have we done well? What do we need to work on? Why are certain players not performing in those first 3 games? And it gives them an opportunity to watch the games back, assess, discuss with his other coaches, and plan with a fully fit squad the next batch of games coming up. So I think that's really important, because I think Slot's great, and I think he's a really good tactical coach. I don't think he's the best tactical coach, but I think he's the best learner. And I think he learns very quick. And you see it in games a lot where he'll change things at half time, or he will have different tactics for different periods of the games, which he spoke about certainly in the Newcastle game. And I think now it provides him an opportunity to do what he does best, learn from the games that have taken place and the preseason, obviously, that came before it, and think about how he's going to get the best out of this team moving forward. So I'd like to think that coming back with a fully fit squad, that actually the performances are going to improve as well because of that. So I think it come at a good time as well, this international break.
Mike, as usual, if you're not familiar with Cav, Cav always makes points that even I, what am I saying? Even I, like I'm the oracle or something, but Cav always makes points that even make me stand up and think, you know what? That's something to talk about and chat. And that's why I love him. He brought up something about Slot. Maybe he's not the best tactically, but he's a great learner. We forget how young Slot is. We forget that this is his first major big gig. Obviously, he was at his former Dutch clubs, right? Working his way up. And we know that he never forgets his losses. How many times did he speak about Forest last season? And then after, just when he recovered from Forest, guys, do you remember how he didn't recover from PSG? Every press conference, every chat was about Paris Saint-Germain performance, Paris Saint-Germain performance. I think Cav's got a point there that he is a great learner. And what he will have learned, or what will he remembered, was the first game back after the international break last season. Who was it? Forest. What we were expected to do? Beat them, thrash them. The feeling was great. 3 wins in a row. And we came back and we lost to Forest. He makes a great point. What's your thoughts on that?
I like Cav's point. I disagree with it, but not in a bad, not in a way that I, I'm not like going at you by any means. I think Slot is actually, to be honest, a phenomenal tactician. I really do. I agree. One thing that Cav said that I absolutely agree with is that he adapts throughout our game. I think that is a phenomenal point. I think it's a very important point. He does adapt throughout our game. I think at times I look at the Arsenal game. The first half, I've watched that first half 3 times in segments. I can't act like I've sat down and watched the 45 back to back, right? But I've watched 15-minute segments on repeat. I don't think it was on the ball. It was awful. On the ball, we were awful, right? Some things you can't coach and prepare. Some things just happen in a game. But I thought the actual structure of the team and the shape of the team was perfect. I don't think Arsenal really created much of a chance in the first half. that was the worst we played in the game. I think there are times in a fair few games, including PSG, to be fair, is a good example of it, where off the ball we weren't good defensively. We were actually very solid in terms of the setup and the shape. PSG, a lot of people like to pull the shots. The thing outside, they had so many shots. Look at where they had the shots from most of the time. I think structurally he knows how to set up a very good team, whether it's for an offensive performance, whether it's for a defensive performance. I think he changes things throughout a game. He's very fluid and he's not rigid in how we approach a game, which I think is actually, again, a nod to a fantastic tactician. I think a poor tactician is someone who doesn't adapt and sticks with one philosophy and doesn't adjust. I think Klopp at times was actually quite susceptible to this. I think Klopp was a phenomenal leader and he knew how to rouse a crowd. That's probably one thing Slot at the first point, if I remember the first couple of months, we were almost like, he's almost a bit too timid. But then he almost seemed to get infected with Anfield culture and now you see him a little bit more active on the touchline. Klopp wasn't a brilliant tactician at times. He had Buvik with him, he had Linders with him, but Klopp was very good at inspiring players, pulling the best out of players. I don't think he was a brilliant tactician. I really don't. But that's not an insult to him. Okay, Rafa Benitez was a terrible man-to-man individual, but he was a phenomenal tactician. You can, if you read Carragher's autobiography, he's a great example of it. Or Gerrard's, for example. He put Gerrard on the right wing. Gerrard hated the graveyard shift. He called it the graveyard shift. But then if you actually look at the performances, I think Gerrard even says, he's like, but ultimately, me playing in this role prepared me for the next couple of years when I was suddenly playing behind Torres, or then when I had to drop deeper, I understood the role better, I understand that was what was needed around me. I think Slot's very good at that. You look how he's using Gravenberch, for example. Gravenberch never really seen himself as a lone six. He's altered him. He's pulled that out. That's a great tactical move. Trent didn't really have the ability to do what we needed him to do defensively. Linders introduced the idea of pushing him into midfield, and we felt like we were sacrificing Henderson at the time. Well, what we ended up doing with Grav was we dropped Grav, we dropped Mac, and then suddenly we had this little four. Mac would push up, Gravenberch would move across, and then Trent would move across. So we'd still have the four, but Mac would then be up alongside Diaz, and then was acting in this sort of free role that we now see Wirtz in. Obviously, we've moved around tactically now. We don't really have the right back cutting in, so it's just a different shape. But I just think he's brilliant tactically, so I don't necessarily buy the idea that he's not. But again, I don't necessarily. I'm not trying to go at Cav, to be clear. But you asked my opinion. That's how I view it. But I understand that there is still to be criticism of him, and I do agree that he's constantly learning. You mentioned the Forest game. I think that's a great example. He doesn't forget his losses. He mentioned Forest probably every press conference after the Forest game. And I think, he'll have that in the back of his mind after international breaks. Maybe it's crisis in my head. I do feel like we are notorious for not playing brilliantly after the international break. Maybe it's because Alexis McAllister, in my opinion, our best midfielder, is coming from South America. He's not even had a preseason. I hope he doesn't start. I love him. I don't want him to start because he's not had a preseason. But all our players are scattered around the globe. You know what I mean? Salah got a direct flight back instead of going with the Egyptian team. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do think he'll have Forest in the back of his mind. But yeah, I've kind of derailed and gone about 3 different ways there, so I do apologise.
No, nothing to apologise about. I love it. Brilliant chat. I love it. We don't always have to agree, and I love it, giving different opinions. What's your verdict, Mo? Judge Mo, you are sat at the middle of the panel like you're the judge. About to give your verdict. Slot tactically. I think we will learn a lot this season, especially with the amount of signings and the profile of players that we've brought in. And we're going to go into the main, I guess, talking point is of how he's going to fit Isak into this setup. And that will give, in my opinion, much valued insight into what he is tactically like. But what have you made of him so far? And to sort of Mike and Cav's points.
Yeah, there's nothing much I can add on to their points. I mean, I think both of them.
Okay, thanks. No,
I think both have got valid points. But what I would say, I think it's too early. 3 games into this.
Either way,
yeah. Well, I think we don't know how he's gonna set up. So with all these new players he's got in now. Now he's got the 4 preferable players he wants. He's got the Isak and all that. And when they all fit, we don't really know exactly what his first 11 is going to be like. Which is the beautiful thing about it, because now he's got variation. He can go to his bench, where last year it felt like he didn't trust his bench. So now we can see it. We might even see a different kind of approach to him. But I totally agree with what Cav said. In-game management, you can see the little tweaks he made. What I've noticed, especially last season, is first half we were very, very slow. He made a couple of tweaks half-time, and second half we come out and blew teams away. this season I'm yet to see that yet, because I think there's so many players yet to gel in. I think we need to give that gelling in period. Yes, the spine is still theoretically there, but there's still 4 or 5 new players into that first 11. So that will take time to bed in. But I also think once he has his full players available, when Mac's fit and when Isak's fit, it's going to be a hell of a headache, because he can try and build his Liverpool side the way he did with his Feyenoord sides and how he got his Feyenoord sides playing that fluid football. We've seen glimpses of it already in a couple of games where we've built up from the back and scored, especially the Rio goal that came from the back. I think every player had a touch of the ball, bar Szoboszlai, which was the key touch, if you can say that, the dummy, and he scored. So we've had glimpses of what it can be like, that final slot ball start. But I think we need to be a bit patient as a fan base. There's a lot of players coming back from injury, and we don't even know if we're ever going to see that very first 11. There's going to be cases where Matt can come back and someone else might get injured. We just don't know. So we have to be patient, and I think it's exciting, because what we think he may set up, he might spring a surprise on us. So until that happens, I think let's go with the flow and see what he comes. I think we're going to see a different kind of Slot this year as opposed to next year, because he's got his own players in now.